Hey guys, welcome everyone. Week 1 here at the Springfield VFW, and we're here joined with new head coach of the Springfield Tigers, Adam Slopek. Coach, thank you so much for coming on and being the first guest this year.
Thanks, Noah. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Coach, first question, taking over the Tigers first year as the head coach. You've been with the team for a long time now. How does it feel to be the head coach?
It's kind of surreal. I don't think of it as a permanent type thing. I'm a renter. I get to rent the position because we say this a lot. Like if no matter what happens, there's gonna always be a game on Friday night. We're always gonna have 11 dudes out there. So I feel really blessed and really fortunate that I get to hold this position for as long as they'll have me. And then it'll be time to turn it over to someone else. But our goal, my goal as the coach and our coaching staff and our players, their time is also limited. It's rented, and we just want to leave the program better than how we found it. And so, like I said, I want to be there as long as they'll have me, and I want to leave the program better. So it's kind of it's really neat.
Well, you're certainly not new to being with the Springfield Tigers. You've been there for 20 years, 18 years as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Do you kind of feel like you've been hoping for an opportunity for a while, or have you just been waiting, just being a part of the team? Is that what's been more important to you? Or
Yeah, I just like to coach football, and it could be as a position coach. It could be as a coordinator. I wasn't really necessarily seeking out the opportunity to be a head coach. It was more like I got the opportunity to be a head coach with these guys, with these players, and it just kind of worked out that way. But coaching is coaching, and you could be the running backs coach, and really you're the head coach of the running backs. You know what I mean? And so just the overall title isn't really all that, alluring, I guess, to me. It was more just getting a chance to be with these players.
no, that's great. And now to get into the season, what's it been like preparing as the first year as the head coach, just getting everything ready, set up, getting these guys prepared for Week 1 coming up on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I've been so pleasantly surprised with how quickly our guys have kind of snapped back into football mode. I think it's the fact that we've had a number of playoff games over the last couple years, so we've had extended seasons, which means extended weeks of practice. And, even though we always go back to the basics when we first start, we were able to move through it really swiftly. So I felt really good. Now, we had to replace a number of really good players that graduated from last year's team. But I know that, there were these guys that are now stepping into those bigger roles, and it's really exciting that's what's exciting about coaching high school football is that there's going to be great players that move on, and there's going to be guys that are going to develop into great players that you maybe didn't even predict, and they just sort of, they grow, they mature, they work their tail off, and all of a sudden now they're the star and they get their time in the sun, and that's what's really exciting.
And with this in taking over, this season come up, what's your outlook for this season? Kind of what are you expecting? What are you hoping from the guys this year? And what are you looking to what are your keys to the season?
I'm not really one into long-term goals. I'm into we had a good practice today on Tuesday, and I want to have a better practice tomorrow. Obviously we're gonna prepare and we're gonna compete to try to win every game. We always say if there's a trophy being given out, we want to play for it. And when we think about, there's a league championship trophy, there's a regional championship trophy, there's a state championship trophy, and we're not gonna really ever focus on those individual things and say that we have to we have to win this or it doesn't matter or whatever. But by that same token, we feel like if we do the right things, if we play good football, if we give our best efforts, then those things will take care of themselves. The wins and the losses. The wins will take care of themselves. But if there's a trophy being given out, we want to try to win it, so we're going to work like heck toward that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys came off a really good season last year, 10-3, undefeated in conference. To start the season off, one thing I've noticed is you guys got a home game. That's not something we usually see. How does it feel to have Week 1 at home at Tiger Stadium?
Yeah.
What's it mean?
It's really special. I mean, we have a great stadium. Our parents and our fans do a great job. Our band is absolutely phenomenal. Our cheerleading group, they put together, and our students and just the community as a whole put together like a whole atmosphere. And I would say that a Friday night at our stadium, we probably positively engage more members of our community than any other time. Maybe the Canfield Fair would be the only other time that it positively engages more of our community members. But I mean, like, it's a special, that just makes it a special place. And it's not just football. I mean, it goes into, they come out for basketball, they come out for baseball and track and girls basketball and volleyball and girls soccer and everything. I mean, to be in our place with our fans around and the parents and the grandparents and everybody like that, plus the band, the cheerleaders, it really makes for a special atmosphere. So to get to kick off the season that way is really fun.
Absolutely. And one second, I just want to take a quick second to shout out the Springfield VFW. Thank you guys for hosting us this year. You guys stepped up, give us a place to have this again. And we're so happy to be here, and we're thankful for that. So thank you to the Springfield VFW. And now looking ahead, week 1, Lakeview, you got them coming up. You're playing up a division. That's kind of been the trend for you guys. You try to play up to get yourself ready for conference play. What are you looking in that matchup? What are some keys you guys look to execute on?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lakeview, we try not to really focus a whole lot on the opponent. We want to focus on playing good football, but obviously you have to look at the opponent to see how they're going to align to certain formations or what their rules are for their offense and their defense, and try to do things for them. I know that I'm actually pretty good friends with Lakeview's coach, who's new this year, and I know he is a good coach, and I know that his staff is really good with his dad and some other guys that Mickey Sikora is another guy on his staff that's a longtime head coach in the area and stuff like that. So I know they're going to be a well-coached team and a well-prepared team. We're just trying to be the best versions of ourselves, and really fine-tune our techniques. And again, if we feel like if we can do those things and we all do our job, the scoreboard takes care of itself.
Yeah, and Coach, one thing I learned about you just from seeing a couple things is I see you're a very detailed-oriented person. That's one thing that some of your players have said in some interviews that I saw. What's that like? Do you have the schedule mapped out a little bit more?
Yeah.
What goes into that?
Well, I was really fortunate when I was growing up. My dad was friends with a gentleman whose name is Dom Capers, and he was the first coach of the Carolina Panthers when they came in 1995. And previous to that, he had been the defensive coordinator for the Steelers. And I was about 13 years old at that point, 12, 13 years old, and we went down to see him during the springtime, and they were having, they call it mini camp in the NFL. Now they call it OTAs or whatever. But anyways, and he was just such a detail-oriented person, and I can remember, and I really wish I was a little bit older. I would have appreciated it more, I think. But I can remember sitting in the back of one of their meetings, and he was talking to their defensive backs, and he told the guy, he said, "Your alignment is off by 6 inches." And he ran and the guy kind of was even like, "Coach, it's 6 inches." But he ran the clip, and the player just got a fingertip on the ball and knocked it away. Had he aligned 6 inches over, he would have picked the ball off. And that kind of stuck with me about how important those seemingly small things can be, And we talk about all the time about making sure that we start behind the line. And I always bring up, like, if you go back a number of years now, the Patriots don't go to the Super Bowl if the defensive end from the Chiefs doesn't line up off sides. Tom Brady throws an interception, the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. But defensive end lined up off sides by about a foot, and so they get another play, and all of a sudden the Chiefs lose and the Patriots go to the Super Bowl again. It's those little details, believe it or not, that are going to make the big difference. And you can look at most games with good football teams. It comes down to a handful of plays that if they go one way or the other can swing the whole momentum of the game.
Absolutely, and I think that's one thing we see. I mean, from the pro level all the way down, especially at the high school level, week 1, you see a lot of mistakes being made, just those little ones. What are you doing in practice to try to clean that up so you're not having those issues with, like, the false starts, the offsides, just those little things, like you said, that could just cost you the game?
Yeah, that's where the film work really, I think, comes into play. Because I think even I remember being a player, it's been a long time now, but I remember being a player, and you don't necessarily feel it when you're playing, but once you see yourself do it, then you're like, oh, man, And so those little details, I mean, we harp a lot. Like I told the guys, listen, I am going to yell a lot today, just because I said so. Don't take it personal, but this is the way we get prepared for games, and I'm gonna put pressure on you today. And so then it becomes harping on those little things about like the false starts and it goes to like for the offensive lineman where your hand is placed, because if your hand's out here it looks like holding, but if it's in here it's fine. For our DBs it's about taking proper, and our outside linebackers taking proper angles to the ball and stuff. And again, I think when you tell the player that, they know it, and our guys listen. They're really coachable guys, but when they see themselves, then they see why. And once they know why, man, they go all out.
And then one last thing, Springfield, we've seen usually it's a run-heavy team. That's something is that kind of what we're going to expect again to see this team? It's a hard defense team and a run-heavy offense. Is that what you're looking? Is there some changes that you're looking to make to the team this year?
I mean, we want to do what's required to win the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, we won't shy away from throwing the ball if that's what's required to win the game. But yeah, there is a certain comfort level. I firmly believe, and our staff firmly believes, that like if you look at the teams that win at the highest levels in Ohio high school football, they all can run the football. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways to run the football, but they all can run the football. And we're really blessed with, I think we have 7 strong linemen that can play. We have 3 strong tight ends that can play. We have backs that can play. Our quarterback is doing a fantastic job right now of running the offense, and when he's called upon to throw, he has been fantastic throwing the ball, but he is also a very capable runner, and so obviously that goes along with that. I think if you have to defend the run in practice, you get a little harder edge to your defense. Yeah. If we were in 10 personnel winging it around all the time, I don't know how our defense would react when all of a sudden they have to play a team, that's going to line up with tight ends and wings and try to kick your butt. And so, like, because we have to defend ourselves throughout the summer and things like that, I think it leads to a harder edge for our guys on D. And let's be real, at a small school, most of our guys that are in those leading roles on offense are also in those leading roles on defense, and they're hard dudes. We just we try to pride ourselves on, and we're not always the toughest or the best, but we're gonna fight the hardest, or fight as hard as we can. And what else can you ask for other than that?
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week, and good luck this Friday against Lakeview.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.